Hello to my friends in Hamburg. This is Rabbi Stephen Fuchs of Bat Yam Temple of the Islands, and I am very happy to make this video for my good friend Pastorine Martina Ditchrist, with whom I have worked in years past and whom I admire very, very much. She's asked me about Passover and how it might compare to the Last Supper. Many scholars, as we know, believe that the Passover Seder was the Last Supper, and the Last Supper was a Passover Seder. Many scholars dispute this. I find both opinions interesting, but myself, I don't have enough reason to accept either one as definitely true. The distance of 2,000 years makes verifying biblical theories very difficult. I think it is good for us to appreciate both perspectives. I will say, though, that the Passover Seder has unique symbols, and it's very important for non-Jews not to confuse the meaning in a Jewish context with that in a Christian context. For example, wine in Judaism is always a symbol of joy. It does not represent the blood of Jesus or anyone else. The unleavened bread, the matzah that we eat at Passover, is the bread of affliction, what we were forced to eat as slaves in Egypt. And also that when we left so hurriedly we didn't have time to allow our bread to rise. It represents nobody's body. The lamb, which we refer to as the lamb slaughtered so that the angel of death would pass over the doors of the Hebrews in the story of Exodus. It doesn't represent Jesus for Jews. Most important, I think, for Jews and non-Jews alike, is to realize that Passover is the story of a war between gods. On the one hand, we have Pharaoh, the pagan god, who was worshipped by building him monuments and pyramids and store cities. And if he needed slaves for that, that's fine. If he needed to beat the slaves to make them work harder, that too was okay. If he needed to thin out the population by throwing the Hebrew boys into the Nile when they were born, no problem. On the other side, we have the one true God of the Torah, a God who we worship by practicing love and kindness and creating a world of justice, caring, and compassion. The Passover story is the story of our God going to war against the pagan god Pharaoh. Fortunately, it is our triumph, and therefore we can continue to live lives of purpose and meaning. Were it not for God going to war for us in this way, we would still be slaves in Egypt at this time. Now, many scholars dispute, did this really happen historically? It may surprise you to say that even as a rabbi who believes fervently in the ideas that the Bible teaches me, I don't know if it's historically true. But it really doesn't matter. It is a story which is at the foundation of all of Jewish thought. A story that our God, if we have faith in God and act in the way that God wishes, by treating each other with dignity and respect, we can create a better world. So as Jews prepare to celebrate Passover, even remotely because we cannot gather this year, and as Christians prepare to celebrate Easter, I wish that all of us can live up to God's ideals and use the talents with which we are blessed to create a more just, caring, and compassionate society. I wish a happy Easter to all of you, and special greetings from my wife Vicky and me to our friend, Pastor Martina Ditchrist. Shalom.